Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is 12 Angry Men. This is a classic that I've been wanting to watch for a while, finally getting around to it on the channel. I know it's about obviously 12 men. They're on jury duty. It's like all in one room essentially, maybe in the actual courtroom as well, but it's mainly focusing on them doing their jury duty, deciding if someone's guilty or not. I'm not 100% sure what the alleged crime is. I'm pretty sure it's like a murder, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find a full-length version of this reaction so you can watch along with me, polls so you can vote for what's next, and early access to upcoming videos. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Oh, are we introducing all of our men here? That guy looked very nervous. This guy looks a lot more confident. Well, that might be a lawyer looking nervous. He's held a briefcase.
A reasonable doubt. Then you must bring me a verdict of not guilty. If, however, there's no reasonable doubt, then you must...
Establishing if there's a reasonable doubt.
The bench will not entertain a recommendation for mercy. The death sentence is mandatory in this case.
Okay, death sentence. That ups the stakes, yeah.
The alternate jurors are excused.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there were 14 there, not 12. I was thinking, what's going on?
They will now retire.
Okay, there are our 12 men. The judge looks a bit bored. Am I crazy? Oh, is this the accused? He looks quite young, actually. Yeah, 3 of them look back and make eye contact with him. Okay, that adds another layer to it, his age. He doesn't have the appearance, the outward appearance of a hardened criminal that can influence you, can't it? Yeah, I wonder how much, so they're all gathering around this table, is most of the, like, how much of the film is just going to be around this table, or will it cut back to other parts, you know, flashbacks to the crime? Ah, fan doesn't work, so it's already hot and stuffy, things will get... Yeah, establishing the atmosphere, things will get heated, literally and physically.
This is going to be the hottest day of the year. Well, you'd think that at least air condition these places.
Yeah, that really adds another layer of tension. Oh, they're locked in.
I never knew they locked the door. Sure they locked the door. What'd you think? I don't know. It just never occurred to me.
Yeah, I never thought they would either.
Oh, I thought we might want to vote by ballot.
Great idea. Maybe we can get him elected senator.
There is usually like a lead juror, isn't there? Someone who takes the charge. Am I right in that?
Gets me is where those lawyers talk and talk and talk, even when it's an open and shut case like this one. I mean, did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Oh, he already thinks it's open and shut, huh?
Honey, now let's get started, huh?
Good idea. Yeah, let's get going. Huh? It's probably over.
Gotta take note of everyone's name. Subtitles just said man in hat there.
I tell you, we were lucky to get a murder case. I figured that's for an assault or burglary.
Ah, lucky because it's interesting. I don't know about that.
You know, I've lived here all my life. I've never been inside that.
You had to sort out all that junk, like that thing with the movies.
Yeah, do we actually have names for anyone? Because subtitles are saying man with cold, man with hat.
These hot weather colds can kill you. I can hardly touch my nose, you know what I mean?
I sure do. We just got over one.
Like that, we're getting some just like casual chit chat between them before we actually get into, you know, talking about whether they think they did it.
Gentlemen at the window. We'd like to get started.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this guy's very quiet. Wasn't very responsive to the convo earlier.
You know, I'm not going to make any rules. We can, well, discuss it first and then vote on it. That's, of course,
But it has to be unanimous. That's the real kicker, isn't it?
Okay, then I think that, of course, you know that we have a first-degree murder charge here.
Yeah, let's establish the stakes. Say that it'll be a death penalty.
All those voting guilty, please raise your hands.
Oh, It's at 11, so it's the quiet guy.
I guess we talk.
Boy, oh boy.
You really think he's innocent?
I don't know.
Yeah, reasonable doubt. Not that he's innocent.
He's 18 years old.
Well, that's old enough. He stabbed his own father 4 inches into the chest.
Oh, it was his father. Okay.
Well, there were 11 votes for guilty. It's not easy to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Okay, wow, he just wants to talk about it first.
I'm not trying to change your mind. It's just that we're talking about somebody's life here. We can't decide it in 5 minutes, supposing.
Yeah, it's someone's life. We can't take it that easily. That makes sense.
Suppose we do it in 5 minutes, so what?
Let's take an hour. Ball game doesn't start till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, he's in a rush because of his ball game, of course, isn't he? It's an hour-and-a-half movie. Is it all going to happen in real time, you know?
Mother dead since he was 9. He lived for a year and a half in an orphanage when his father was serving a jail term for forgery.
That's more reason why he could have done it, but that doesn't mean if he's guilty or not. If he's got a reason to.
I mean, they're born liars.
Born liars.
Man, can you believe that?
Ah, yeah, there we go.
The breakfast with a built-in bounce? I wrote that line.
Very catchy.
Yeah.
Say, do you mind?
Yeah, just unrelated chatter as well.
Maybe if we each took a couple of minutes just to... Well, it was just a quick idea.
No.
Yeah, say why they think he is guilty.
Well, it's hard to put into words. I just think he's guilty.
Just a gut instinct.
And he heard the kid yell out, "I'm going to kill you."
Oh,
Later, he heard a body hit the floor.
yeah, let's get some facts of the case.
Called the police. They came in, found the old man with a knife in his chest. The coroner fixed the time.
But the person who lives below could be mistaken, you know? Misremembering.
The kid is guilty.
Yeah, it's saying these are facts, but it's a person. People are fallible.
He claimed he was at the movies during the time of the killing, and yet 1 hour later, he couldn't remember the names of the films he saw or who played in them.
Oh, yeah. That's quite condemning, saying you're at the film and don't have a ticket or anything.
The lights were out, remember? And they proved in court that at night you can look through the windows of an L train when the lights are out and see what's happening on the other side.
Okay. She saw it through the windows of a train. That's something.
Believe the woman's. She's one of them, too, isn't she?
Ha. Okay, nice.
Smart fella, aren't you?
Good spin on it.
Gentlemen.
By one of them, does he mean just them being poor, or is it something else?
I don't know. I started to be convinced, very early in the case.
Well, you were convinced early in the case. That means you could potentially be having, what's the bias called, where everything starts to align, you know what I mean?
And they heard the father hit the boy twice.
So you could make the
Out of the house. What does that prove?
father hit him, you could make the argument of self-defense.
This boy's been hit so many times in his life that violence is practically it's a normal state of affairs with him.
Confirmation bias, that's what I mean.
Well, look at his record. When he was 10, he was in children's court. He threw a rock at a teacher.
Okay, criminal record as well.
A kid like that?
It's these kids, the way they are nowadays.
It's always the way kids are nowadays, isn't it?
Kid, I used to call my father sir.
Kids are always, the next generation is always entitled and rude, you know.
He was 9 years old. He ran away from a fight. I saw it. I was so embarrassed I almost threw up.
For running away from a fight.
Well, I made a man out of him. When he was 16, we had a fight.
Mm-hmm. Can you see your own son in him now, then?
2 years.
Haven't seen him for 2 years. Wow, okay.
Well, let's get going.
I think we're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's the product of a broken home and a
Is that changing his mind? Look at the focus. Focus still on him.
I've lived in a slum all my life.
Wait a minute.
Please, I've played in backyards with...
Okay, he grew up from that background too.
Now listen. Look, your turn down there. Let's go.
I didn't expect a turn. I thought you were all going to try to convince me.
Yeah, of course, he gets a turn too.
Now, here, you want to take the chair? Just take the chair. That's all. See if you keep it running. Listen, you think it's funny or something?
Forget it, fella. The whole...
Tensions are rising. Here we go.
Well, if you want me to tell you how I feel about it, it's all right with me.
Boy, I don't care what you do.
He's very detached from this now, yeah. He seems, yeah, super detached from it. He's always just like never throwing in his own opinion.
Maybe it's also possible for a lawyer to be just plain stupid, isn't it?
Okay, so he doesn't believe the defense was good enough.
If I was on trial for my life, I'd want my lawyer to tear the prosecution witnesses to shreds, or at least try to.
Yeah, you want them to be the best of the best.
What are you trying to say? Those people sat on the stand under oath.
They're only people. People make mistakes. Could they be wrong?
Yeah, they're fallible.
No, he didn't say slapped. He said punched. There's a difference between a slap and a punch.
Punch is more violent, arguably.
It had a very unusual carved handle and blade. The storekeeper who sold it to him said it was the only one of its kind he had ever had in stock.
Oh, okay. That adds something to it.
And left the house at 10 minutes after 12. He even remembered to wipe the knife clean of fingerprints. Now, are you trying to tell me that this knife...
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought there would be the knife would be in a bag or something, but there's no fingerprints or DNA on it.
It's a very unusual knife. I've never seen one like it.
Oh, dragon on it? Nice. Wow, okay.
I walked through the boy's neighborhood. I bought that in a little pawn shop just 2 blocks from the boy's house.
Wow.
It's against the law to buy or sell switchblade knives.
That's right, I broke the law.
But it brings in doubt.
What's that, the discovery of the age or something?
You mean you're asking us to believe that somebody else did the stabbing with exactly the same kind of knife?
The odds are a million.
Someone could have seen him buy that knife initially and bought another knife to frame him, you know? Lots of possibilities here.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
There are still 11 of us here who think he's guilty.
Right.
I'm waiting for one person to change their mind. I was thinking maybe he would flip to guilty and someone else would be non-guilty.
Somebody saw the kid stab his father. What more do we need? You guys can talk the ears right off my head. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's an easy trick to just say, turn around and tell me the colour of someone's tie, you know, pick a number and you can be fallible with your memory.
Call for another vote. I want you 11 men to vote by secret.
Written. Yeah, there's no pressure of seeing who's voting what way as well. Oh, there's building music. Ominous, though, it sounds.
Guilty? Guilty.
Different handwriting, the different personalities of the men, you know?
Guilty.
There we go.
Oh, now just wait a minute. Listen, you can't talk to me like that. No, who do you think you are?
Down, calm down.
Do they even know it was him? It might not have been.
What made you change your vote?
He didn't change his vote. I did.
There we go.
You tell me why.
Well, I'd like to make it clear anyway, if you don't mind.
Do we have to listen to this?
The man wants to talk.
Yeah, they all get their right to talk.
I respect his motives. But the boy in trial is probably guilty, but I want to hear more.
Okay, that's why he voted.
10 to 2. I'm talking here. You have no right to leave this
Can't
room.
hear you. He never will. Let's sit down.
Wow, he never will hear you. But that means they'll never be unanimous.
Well, I think we ought to take a break. You know, one man's inside, and I think we ought to wait for him.
Oh, that's good, yeah. Release the tension a bit. Let's have a break.
You know, in advertising, I told you I worked in an agency.
Really? I didn't know.
Got a little excited back there. I didn't mean to get nasty.
Okay, he is apologizing. That's good, though. Yeah, grudges starting to form, of course.
Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba.
Are they going to have a little chat here?
Hey, you a salesman?
I'm an architect.
Oh, an architect. Okay.
You know what the soft sell is? Well, you got it. Believe me. I got a different technique.
Yeah, they both have different approaches.
But what are you wasting our time for? Why don't you donate $5 to the cause and maybe it'll make you feel better.
Yeah, it's not wasting time for no reason.
As plain as
Nice bunch of guys, huh?
Anyone else?
Good cast of characters. Yeah, it's all been real time so far. I wonder if we will get a time cut or if, you know, an hour and a half. That's not that long really to decide that.
Supposing you talk us all out of this and
Kid really did knife his...
Yeah, that's also a possibility. If he did knife his father, I don't think he... From the sounds of it, it's not like he'd go on to be a serial killer, you know? If you did hypothetically get him away with it, if he did get away with it and he was guilty.
There's another apartment. It's not that easy to identify a voice, particularly a shouting voice.
Yeah, it could have been someone else shouting it and he saw someone running away and assumed it was the son.
Has anybody here any idea how long it would take an elf?
Oh, they're not even paying attention, yeah.
This isn't a game.
Yeah, someone's life on the line here.
I lived in a second-floor apartment near the L line once. When the window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can hardly hear yourself think.
So how did he hear that I'll kill you?
Split second later, heard a body hit the floor. 1 second later, right?
That's right.
Second. The woman across the street swore...
Yeah.
She looked out of the window.
They're in conflict, the two testimonies. Okay.
Therefore, the train had been roaring by the old man's window a full 10 seconds before the body hit the floor.
Yeah, when does the train go past in the old man story?
Roaring by?
You're talking about a matter of seconds. Nobody can be that accurate.
Well, I think testimony that could put a boy into the electric chair should be that.
Yeah.
Something I don't think he could have heard it. Maybe he didn't hear it. I mean, with all that else...
Oh, that's really shaking things up a bit.
Why should he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
It's funny the way, the old man is shot singularly on his own, right down the middle, kind of looking into camera.
You gotta have more respect, mister. If you say stuff like that to him again, I'm gonna lay you out.
Oh, okay. Yep, tension's rising once again. I mean, it's not called 10 calm men. It's not called 12 calm men have a lovely conversation.
He was a very old man in a torn jacket. And he walked very slowly to the stand.
Felt lonely, just wants attention.
This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant old man who has been nothing all his life.
Now he has a chance to be something. That makes sense.
He wouldn't really lie, but perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words.
Yeah, always make yourself believe something.
Supposing he did.
Prove it at all. What are you talking about?
Supposing he really did hear it. This phrase, how many times have all of us used it?
Yeah, you've used it and you haven't killed someone.
I remember I was arguing with the guy I worked next to at the bank a couple weeks ago. He called me an idiot, so I yelled at him.
Okay, nice to see him talking back up as well. Yeah, when he's behind him here, they're almost on the same team, even though he's framed.
He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
Wow.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
You what?
You heard me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we've got a lot of changes.
For crying out loud, the kid's own lawyer knew he didn't stand a chance. Right from the beginning, his own lawyer knew he didn't.
Yeah, that's why the lawyer didn't try as hard.
It's the kind of case that brings him nothing. No money, no glory, not even much chance of winning. That's not a
He'd
very
already
promising
given up
situation for a
before.
young lawyer.
Why would he come back home 3 hours later? Wouldn't he be afraid of being caught?
That's true. Or if he did stay home, wouldn't he clean things up?
Well, I think we can assume the boy ran out in a state of panic after having just killed his father. When he finally
Yeah,
calmed down,
he's
he
panicking, of course. He's gonna make mistakes.
I'll bet he figured that nobody had seen him running out, and that the body wouldn't be discovered till the next day.
So he knew to go back at 3 in the morning. Why did it take the police 3 hours to get there? Or he went back 3 hours so the police could have already been there investigating?
Did hear the scream, didn't hear the scream. What difference does it make? You people are talking only about the little details. You're forgetting the important stuff.
I kind of want to know the foreman's opinion because he's been real quiet. Yeah, he's just kind of going with the flow, it seems, of like what other people believe.
Still the same. 1, 2, 3, not guilty. 9 guilty.
So now, where are we? I'm telling you, we can...
Is he changing his mind?
Pardon?
Okay, there we go.
I don't have to defend my decision to you. There is a reasonable doubt in my mind.
Yeah, it only needs to be a reasonable doubt. Not that you think he is innocent.
Into his father. Now, what about this, Mr. Reasonable Doubt?
That's not the knife, don't you remember?
Yeah, it's the other one.
Now, what about the old man? Are we supposed to believe that he didn't get up and run to his door and see the kid tearing down the steps 15 seconds after the killing? Hey, what's the point?
But if it's someone else who did the killing, he saw someone running away and associated it as the kid because that's who lives there.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to see a diagram of the apartment.
Look, why don't we just have him run?
Ah, okay. Just to see if the old man could have seen him leaving.
That? He said 15 seconds. He was very positive about it.
He was an old man. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything?
You're arguing against your own case there, yeah. How can he be positive about anything? I do wonder if we will find out the truth, or will we not, and it will just be up to us to interpret just through their second-hand account of the evidence as well, not actually seeing the evidence presented in the court.
12 feet. Open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet down, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. You think he could have done it?
Yeah, because he was limping, wasn't he?
What are you doing? I'm going to try it. See how long it took. What do you mean you want to try it?
Ah, is the room big enough? I wonder if there will be some sort of twist, you know? It was actually the old man and he's done this story to cover himself up for some reason.
Will you stand right there and mark the front door? It was chain locked according to the testimony, remember?
So it takes a moment to open the door as well. Ah, yeah, he's doing the limp as well.
Stop.
Right.
What's the time?
Exactly 41 seconds.
Yeah, so even if it was 20 seconds, it's double that.
You all know he's guilty. He's got to burn. You're letting him slip through our fingers.
Slip through our fingers? Are you his executioner?
Oh, he interprets himself as executioner.
I feel sorry for you. What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
To want to kill another person.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts.
Hmm. Oh.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Ah, that again. Wow. Bringing that F again.
What are you looking at?
Oh, look at that shot. 10 against 1 now. Even if they're not all voting that way, it's they're standing with him, you know, in that conflict.
I beg pardon. What are you so polite about?
For the same reason you're not. It's the way it was brought up.
Yeah, things are getting personal between them as well.
If nobody else has an idea, I might have a cutie here. I mean, I haven't given it much thought, but let's throw it out on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up.
The cat licks it up.
He's got funny sayings as well, yeah, like he was making fun of.
I bet we're gonna have a storm now. Boy, oh boy, it's really hot, huh?
He still hasn't taken off his jacket.
The vote is now 6-6.
Halfway, okay, completely split.
Extra innings here, huh?
The life of a person is more important than the ball game.
Don't give me that. I'm sick and tired of facts. You can twist them any way you like. You know what I mean?
That's exactly the point this gentleman has been making.
Yeah, you can twist the facts.
Loudmouth.
Let's ask number one what he thinks. He really hasn't had much say in things. For like him and most of them, you can get a good feel for the character, but him and number 4 are probably the least that we've seen from, you know?
Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm the assistant head coach at the Andrew J. McCorkle High School. Yeah, that's out in Queens.
Okay, there we go. Learning a bit more about him now. Yeah, will his game get cancelled because of the rain anyway?
And you guys ever go to the garden? Sorry,
Yeah, is he calming down a bit? Now that he's got the fan on?
Incredible person. I mean, where does he come off calling me a public avenger, sadist and everything? I mean, anyone in his right mind would blow a stack. Huh?
Number 4 keeps pretty cool.
Judge, let the kid take his chance with Paul Hunnigan.
I don't think the judge will accept a hung jury. We haven't been in here very long.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, has it only been about an hour? I assume it's all real time. I don't think there's been any jump cuts, any time skips.
You don't fully understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean, I don't understand?
Yeah, you have to be certain that he's guilty. Completely certain.
Putting yourself in the boy's place, do you think you could remember details after an upsetting experience that you
Yeah.
were faced by your father?
I think so.
Well, also maybe finding out your dad's dead, you know, it's traumatic.
Under great emotional stress?
Under great emotional stress.
He remembered them correctly in court. He named the pictures and the stars who played in them.
Ah, he remembered later, but he could research it.
I'll tell you in a minute. The remarkable Mrs.
He's struggling, but that's further back than, you know, the film you've just seen.
Yes, The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge. I think that's right.
Who was in The Amazing Mrs. Bainbridge?
So he misremembered something, part of the title.
And you weren't under an emotional stress, were you?
Oh, now he's sweating. Yeah, look at that.
I wasn't.
He doesn't sweat.
Sarge, you got the infield covered.
Say, could I see that knife a second, please?
Some sort of serial number or anything on the knife? They seem to be more mass-produced than you'd initially think.
Well, there was this whole business about the stab wound and how it was made. The downward angle of it, you know.
Something with the knife.
His father was 6'2". That's a difference of 7 inches. It's a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest.
Down when you're that high, yeah. Gonna demonstrate it.
A little more.
Okay, a little more.
Yeah, you can go down on someone's chest from there if you do it from high enough.
Taller than I was. Look at the angle. Down and in. And this is the way it was done.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said.
Did you ever see a knife fight?
No. You?
No. Anybody here ever see a knife fight?
If he's a kid from the streets, you'd be more into knife fights. More where it's low and you kind of just do multiple.
Anyone who's ever used a switch knife wouldn't handle it any other way.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
And it's a kid from the street, so he'd know how to handle it.
I feel he'd have gone for him underhanded.
How do you know? Were you in the room when the father was killed?
But when you're enraged, I don't know, it feels more dramatic to do it that way.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can be in two minds about something.
So I guess I'll have to break it up. I changed my vote to not guilty.
Really?
You what?
But I think he's changing it just to get it done.
That's not an answer. What kind of a man are you?
Yeah, to deal with someone's knife. To deal with someone's life, you know?
You can't talk like that to me.
I can talk like that to you. If you want to vote not guilty, then do it.
At least have a reason.
I told you. Not guilty.
Why?
Yeah, is there actually some doubt in his mind and it's playing off? Who was that? Ah, yeah, he's changed his mind as well.
9.
So has Foreman.
And let me tell you, they don't need any real big reason to kill someone either. No, sir.
He did have reason though, his dad had beat him.
Well, nobody's blaming them for it. That's the way they are, by nature. You know what I mean?
Nah, violent by nature when you're born, no.
Sure, there's some good things about them too. Look, I'm the first one to say that. I've known a couple who were okay, but that's...
I've known a couple who are okay, wow.
Do anything.
Oh, they're all, yeah, turning on him.
You're making a big mistake, you people. This kid is a liar. I know it. I know all about them. Listen to me.
All turning on him.
We're this kid on trial here. His type. Well, don't you know about them?
And even number 3's looking away, who does think he's guilty.
Danger here. These people are dangerous.
That's a great moment, yeah. Fighting against his bigotry. Standing up against it. Yeah, social, not isolation. Guilt, embarrassment, sometimes the only way to deal with that.
Wherever you run into it, prejudice always obscures the truth. I don't really agree. I don't know. Nobody really can. But we have a very valuable in our system. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's sure.
Unless they're 100% sure, yeah.
And 2, the fact that she described the stabbing by saying she saw the boy raise his arm over his head.
Align with the stab, yeah.
11 o'clock that night. Her bed was next to the window, and she could look out while lying down and see directly.
But could she have seen someone else and thought it was the boy?
After the killing, but that she got a good look at the boy in the act of stabbing his father.
Is there something with the trains going past? You know, there's kind of that illusion of movement that can be made.
Go out!
out all the other evidence. The woman saw him do it. What else do you want?
Yeah, well, maybe...
Let's vote on it.
He's really timid now.
All right, I'm changing my vote.
A flip-flopping.
No point in getting nasty. Keep trying to turn this into a contest.
Yeah, is it more about his own ego now?
I'm sure you'll pardon me for this, but I was wondering why you rub your nose like that.
It's where his glasses were sitting, wasn't it?
Your eyeglasses made those two deep impressions in the sides of your nose. I hadn't noticed that before.
Okay, what does this lead to?
The woman who testified that she saw the
Does she wear glasses?
on the sides of her nose.
She wouldn't have been wearing glasses when she woke up.
There, marks on her nose. Well, what does that mean?
Could those marks...
Come on, you can put it together.
No, they couldn't.
That convinced him. Number 4. There seems to be doubt now.
Have her testify without her glasses?
Did you ever see a woman who had to wear glasses and didn't want to because she thinks they spoil her look?
Yeah, she wore contacts in court.
But when she saw this kid killing his father, she was in the house alone. That's all.
She was asleep. You don't sleep with them on.
No one wears eyeglasses to bed.
Yeah.
But to assume that she wasn't wearing them when she was in bed, tossing and turning, trying to...
You can see it. You can see it change in his mind. You can see it change in number 4's mind.
Sunglasses. Maybe she was farsighted. What do you know about her?
I only know the woman's eyesight is in question now. She had to be...
And because it's in question, there's reasonable doubt.
feet away at night without glasses.
You can't send someone off to die on evidence like that.
Look how close all of the shots are now. They're right up in their face.
You think he's guilty?
Yeah, he hasn't been in this conversation much, just thinking.
I'm convinced. Not guilty.
There we go.
All that stuff, the knife, the whole business.
Well, you said we could throw out all the other evidence.
He keeps digging himself into holes, doesn't he?
You're alone.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. It's my right.
Yeah, he was alone too. Number 8 was alone as well.
I want to hear your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
His arguments have always just been, well, he's guilty, of course he is.
Sure, you can take all the time, hobble around the room, but you can't prove it.
But you can't prove that he did it.
Business of the L and the movies. There's a phony deal if I ever heard one.
He's got reasonable doubt for all of the evidence that he's not guilty.
Here. Well, that's it. That's the whole case.
Oh, what was that? Quick glimpse of that photo.
Rotten kids, you work.
Oh, that's his son. Yeah, of course it is. Oh, is it because his own vendetta against his son? That's why he feels that way? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. He just ripped up that photo.
Not guilty.
Wow. I didn't think number 3 would make me feel this way. Yeah. It just clicked there for me, of course, because of what he said about his own son. Gonna help him out. And that's it. Oh, they left that knife there.
What's your name? Davis.
Davis. We actually have names for them now. Nice. And there we go. Nice. Okay, so that was 12 Angry Men. That was really great. You guys don't need me to tell you how great it is. You're watching this video because you know it's great. But yeah, amazing. That's a 10 out of 10. It does such a good job at building the stakes, increasing the claustrophobia, the tension over time, even just, you know, establishing that it's a hot day and the fan's not working, it's making the room stuffy. Even that is gonna build the tension. You yourself you know, we've all been in that situation where you've got a hot, stuffy, uncomfortable room that you can't leave if it's like an exam or something like that, or a test at school, and the room's like not fit for purpose and you're there struggling. I know that exact feeling that they were all feeling there, sitting there in that hot room, you know? And I'm really glad as well. We never find out the truth. I don't think it's necessary. We don't need it in the film. The point is, you know, them coming to their decisions, what influences you, what changes your mind, your personal biases as well. You know, if the film ended and then we had a scene of the supposed killer, you know, confessing, and we find out that he did actually do it, I don't think that's the point. I think that would ruin it. I like that we don't know what the truth actually is, but we know why they came to their decision. We know how they came to their decision. That's what matters. They had the doubt. They had that reasonable doubt. Because as well, there was a point where I was wondering if there would be some sort of twist. You know, I said, oh, what if the man below actually did it? I don't know how that would have came about and how that would have, you know, been revealed. But I was also thinking like, oh, what if one of these guys who keeps saying, insisting that he's guilty, they did it and that's like a cover up? But no, you know, you don't need that here. You don't need that kind of twist. There was just a big enough emotional twist with Juror number 3 anyway. I think, is that not actually the premise of Juror number 2, that Clint Eastwood film that's quite recent? But anyway, it's yeah, that more personal twist where they set up earlier that he, you know, had a fight with his son. I don't know if he meant a physical fight or just like a, you know, emotional fight, I guess, with his son, and he hasn't spoken to his son in 2 years. You know, they set that up earlier, and I thought, you know, oh, that's good. You know, it's setting up the type of man he is. It acts well as a setup, but then you kind of forget about it with everything else, and then it comes up at the end there as almost like this emotional twist of, yeah, that's why he's acting the way he is. We knew that's why he was acting the way he was at the start, but this, I don't know, there's just something about it when it comes back up. It just clicks and you're like, ah, that's why he acts the way he is. He's resentful of his son, perhaps. It's just too much on him, and the ripping up the paper, you know, they make him he's kind of the clear antagonist of the group. Him and number 10, I'd say. Is it number 10? The one who was prejudiced against the poor people. They're kind of antagonists of the group. Although, you know, other people play other roles. But it was great, you know, him tearing it up and then the emotional release after him figuring out what he's done, and he goes, yeah, not guilty. You know, he realizes it's all himself, it's all his own prejudice, it's his life that's formed him into the way he is. And same with number 10. It was great, that scene where they all just turn their back on him, even the people who are on his side, you know, saying that the boy was guilty. That is sometimes the best way to deal with prejudice, is to make someone feel socially isolated because of it, socially exempt, especially when it's their peers as well, because these are all men, you know. I think if it was women doing the same, it wouldn't have the same effect on him. It's all his peers and maybe people he could theoretically look up to, you know. They didn't even really have to say a word. They didn't stop him and say, no, that's not right, you can't say that. They almost didn't even challenge him. They just turned his back to him, left him there alone, and he sits alone for the rest of the time as well once he realises that. And I think it helps as well having juror number 5 in the room as well, who also grew up in the slums, as he said. So it's all of the men standing with him as well, not just standing against number 10. And I also think, you know, they balance it quite well. Everyone gets their time to shine. Obviously, some are more main characters than others, like 7 and 8, obviously. They're more personalities at the start. You know, it's funny, I call 8 the quiet one at the start because he wasn't really responding to anyone, but I think it's because he knew he would be alone in the non-guilty at the start. And he doesn't actually end up being that quiet in the end. He speaks up a lot, but he speaks up with conviction and is still kind of calm and collected. But also, it's also like, you know, the seriousness with how serious some men here take it. I think number 7 does eventually, you know, come around once number 11 had a word with him and said, what kind of man are you? You know, this is someone's life on the line and you're more concerned about your game that you want to go to, you know. You have to treat these things with the utmost severity, of course, because there's someone's life on the line. You could be condemning someone to death when they could be innocent. And yeah, it's the beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the crux of it, really. Is sometimes people forget that it's not about innocent or guilty. It's if there's any doubt that they're guilty, then we give someone the title of not guilty as well. We don't call them innocent, we call them not guilty. They were found not guilty. They weren't proven innocent. There was no concrete proof that he didn't do it. It was just that there was a doubt that he didn't do it. The evidence wasn't enough to say he 100% did do it. I think that's also an issue sometimes when someone is found not guilty of something. People say, oh, they were proven innocent. That's not correct. Not on a technical level. They could have still done it, but there wasn't enough evidence to 100% put them away or, you know, give them the death penalty. In this case, there is still a chance he did actually do it, but not enough evidence. And yeah, the whole film is practically real time, as I was suspecting, and all in that room. You know, you have a quick shot of the outside and inside before and after, and you have the bathroom where a little conversation takes place, but it is all mainly in that one room in real time, which is really cool. And it is nice at the end we got the names just of those two. We didn't get all of them, but it was nice to have them just to humanize everyone a bit, you know, because we're just calling them by their numbers for the most part throughout the film. But I do think actually having them numbered, having them sat in the order, it helps me remember who is who. If they were all named, I think I would have just had a bunch of names on my notes and it would just be, wait, which one was which as I was going through. So having them numbered, having them sat in their order helped me remember at least. It's a cool tool there to help the audience, I feel like. And yeah, it's a great exploration into, you know, evidence, and they're really, from what they've said, you know, I wasn't in the courtroom, so I'm only guessing it's secondhand through all of the men here. It seemed like most of the evidence, there was nothing concrete, you know. It's not like there's a DNA sample that matches his and there was blood found at the scene that matches his. Obviously, that technology also wasn't really around back then, but it's all of the evidence was from witnesses, from humans. And as we see in this room, humans are fallible. That, you know, just almost on principle isn't enough to have that to be beyond reasonable doubt for me. So it was great, you know, just exploring that, and I'm glad everyone came around at the end. So it was great, you know, exploring that and seeing how the men interpret all of the different evidence too, and, you know, these different reveals and conclusions they come to as they start to remember details like the nose markings for the woman wearing glasses, and plotting out the room as well. It's never static either. It's not just them sitting in their chairs. The arrangement of the room changes, you know. They're plotting out the way he would have walked. They have almost like interesting set pieces, I guess, with that, and different ways things are framed as well. As we get towards the end of the film, we're so up close with the characters and with like the blocking, like where people are standing. You can see allegiances. There was the point where number 1 stood up against number 2 or number 3. Might be getting the numbers wrong there. Number 1 with the glasses, he was standing up, but when he was doing it, he was standing behind number 8. He was like hiding there behind number 8. That gave him the courage to kind of stand up there when he was sitting next to him. Maybe he didn't have that courage as well. There's a lot of really cool moments just through the framing and the blocking. You can really see where the characters are at, see their alliances. You know, sometimes we just have a slow zoom on a character as they're changed in their mind, as they're contemplating things as well. It's really well shot too. Okay, so I think that's everything. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. And if you really love this, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date on all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.